The quiet halls of Jefferson Ridge School echoed with laughter that morning, the kind of ordinary sound no one ever thinks could disappear in seconds.
Children ran to class, teachers prepared lessons, and in the small medical office near the main corridor, Nurse Olivia Parker calmly arranged bandages and medicine bottles like she did every day. She was known as the gentle school nurse with a soft voice and kind eyes, someone who always made frightened children feel safe. To everyone around her, Olivia was simply a caring nurse who lived a peaceful life. But hidden behind that quiet smile was a past no one at the school knew, a past filled with war zones, gunfire, blood, and survival.
Before the morning ended, that secret would change everything.
At exactly 10:12 a.m., the peace shattered.
A loud gunshot exploded near the entrance, followed by terrified screams. Students dropped to the floor.
Teachers rushed to lock classroom doors.
Panic spread across the building in seconds.
3 armed men wearing masks stormed into the school with military precision, shouting orders and pointing rifles at anyone who moved. Their leader barked commands as they forced students and staff into the central hallway.
Fear consumed the air.
Crying children clung to teachers while phones slipped from shaking hands.
The school had become a hostage zone. Inside the medical office, Olivia heard every sound.
Her heart raced, but her face remained calm.
Years of training awakened instantly, turning fear into focus.
She quickly guided a frightened student into a storage cabinet and whispered for him to stay silent no matter what happened. Before she could secure the room, the door burst open. One of the gunmen entered, aiming his rifle directly at her.
"Hands up," he shouted.
Olivia slowly raised her hands, appearing terrified and helpless. She allowed them to believe exactly what they wanted, that she was weak, frightened, and harmless.
The gunman dragged Olivia into the main hallway with the other hostages. Students cried softly while teachers tried to comfort them. The attackers demanded access to a secured records room connected to the administrative office.
They believed important evidence stored there could destroy a criminal network they worked for. Police had already surrounded the school, making escape nearly impossible.
Tension rose with every passing minute. The gunman became more aggressive, more desperate, and far more dangerous. As negotiations continued outside, one nervous gunman accidentally fired his weapon while repositioning. The bullet tore through his teammate's leg. He collapsed screaming in pain as blood spread rapidly across the floor.
The leader turned to Olivia and shoved her forward.
"Help him now," he yelled, pressing a gun against her head. Olivia dropped beside the injured man and assessed the wound in seconds. Severe bleeding. Possible artery damage. Death within minutes without intervention.
Her hands moved with astonishing speed and precision. She tore fabric, applied pressure, improvised a tourniquet, and controlled the bleeding with expert efficiency. The injured man stared at her in shock.
"How do you know how to do this?" he whispered through pain. Olivia said nothing.
But the leader noticed something disturbing. Her hands were steady. Her breathing was controlled. There was no panic in her eyes.
Only focus.
He narrowed his gaze.
"You military?" he asked. Olivia remained silent for a moment before quietly answering, "Used to be."
The leader stepped closer.
"What branch?"
Olivia lifted her eyes and met his stare.
"United States Navy." He gave a mocking laugh. "A nurse?"
Olivia's expression hardened.
"Combat medic." The laughter vanished. The air changed.
For the first time, the gunmen felt something they had not expected: uncertainty.
Hours passed.
Outside, SWAT teams waited for the right moment to intervene. Inside, pressure continued building. Then everything changed again when a young girl named Sophie collapsed, struggling to breathe from a severe asthma attack.
Her chest tightened violently. She gasped for air. Teachers panicked.
Olivia rushed toward her and searched for an inhaler. One emergency inhaler sat only a few feet away, but the leader kicked it aside.
"Nobody moves," he shouted.
Olivia's voice turned cold and sharp. "If she doesn't get that inhaler now, she dies."
The leader hesitated.
His men began arguing.
One wanted to help the girl.
Another insisted on control.
In that moment, cracks formed in their unity. Olivia saw the opening. Years of elite training compressed into one explosive second. She moved faster than anyone expected.
She lunged toward the inhaler, spun low, drove her elbow into the leader's throat, and stripped his handgun before he could react.
A deafening shot blasted into the ceiling.
The second gunman swung his rifle toward her, but Olivia slammed a metal medical tray into his wrist, forcing the weapon free.
The third attacker rushed forward.
Olivia stepped inside his momentum, twisted his arm, and threw him hard into the wall.
Bone cracked. He collapsed instantly. The entire exchange lasted only seconds. Silence filled the hallway. Children stared in disbelief. Teachers froze. The quiet nurse was gone.
In her place stood a warrior.
But the fight wasn't over.
Two more armed accomplices entered through a side corridor, weapons raised. Olivia grabbed the fallen handgun and positioned herself between them and the children.
Gunfire erupted. Bullets shattered glass and ripped through walls.
Olivia fired once, striking one attacker.
The second fired back.
Pain exploded through Olivia's shoulder as a bullet grazed her, but she kept moving.
Adrenaline overpowered pain.
She charged forward before he could fire again, disarmed him in close combat, and slammed him to the ground unconscious. Seconds later, SWAT teams stormed the building.
Clear. Clear. Hostiles down. It's over. Officers secured every attacker while terrified children burst into tears. Teachers collapsed in relief.
Parents waiting outside cried as news spread that the hostage crisis had ended. In the middle of the chaos, Olivia finally dropped to one knee, blood soaking her sleeve. A SWAT medic rushed toward her, but before he reached her, little Sophie ran forward and hugged Olivia tightly.
"You saved us," the girl whispered. Olivia's eyes filled with tears.
She gently hugged the child back.
"No," she said softly. "We survived together." News of the incident spread across the country.
Reporters uncovered Olivia Parker's hidden past. She had served with elite Navy Special Operations teams in active combat zones, saving wounded soldiers under enemy fire and earning multiple military honors for extraordinary bravery. The nation called her a hero. Reporters chased interviews.
Media stations demanded exclusive coverage. But Olivia refused attention.
When finally asked whether she considered herself a hero, she gave only one answer.
"Heroes are not people without fear," she said. "They are people who act even when they are afraid."
Months later, Jefferson Ridge School reopened.
Laughter returned to the hallways. Students resumed classes. Life slowly felt normal again.
Olivia returned to the same medical office, wearing the same calm smile and gentle expression.
But now everyone understood something they had missed before. Strength does not always look powerful. Courage does not always shout. Sometimes true strength hides behind kindness, patience, and silence.
One afternoon, Sophie visited Olivia with a drawing. It showed a nurse wearing scrubs and a flowing superhero cape. At the top, written in bright crayons, were simple words: "Heroes wear bandages too." Olivia stared at the picture for a long moment before tears rolled down her cheeks.
Not tears of pain, but of peace.
In that moment she understood something life had been trying to teach her for years. Her past had not been a burden to escape. It had been preparation for the moment someone would need her most.
And that is the truth many people forget. Never underestimate quiet people. Never mistake kindness for weakness. Because sometimes the gentlest soul in the room carries the heart of a warrior.
Sometimes the person offering comfort is also the one capable of facing darkness head-on.
And sometimes heroes do not arrive when danger begins. Sometimes they were beside us all along.